All right. So let's get on with it. Let's go ahead and start our platform talk. Now, the one thing I'm praying for is for this laptop to not act funny on me because it's been, doing some, freezing here and there. So I'm just hoping that it don't do that. Mm-hmm. Some fun shenanigans. So we'll give this a shot, see how this works. All right, so let's talk about what's been going on here in the last, probably the last couple weeks or so. So I ran across I ran across 4 different articles this week. And it was something that I just could not avoid anymore. So I had to say something. I have to say something. It's to a point where whatever happened to critical thinking? Whatever happened to common knowledge, common sense? And then it's more of hypocrisy than anything. And it's something that bugs me, and it's something that needs to be said. So what is critical thinking? The objective analysis of evaluating an issue in order to form a judgment. Indeed.com put out the 5 ways to have good critical thinking skills: observation, analysis, inference, communication, and problem solving. I think these are the 5 most important things to have, and the 2 people I'm fixed to talk about do not have it. They have their way of thinking, but it's not the critical thinking part of it. The observation, the ability to notice and predict opportunities, problems, and solutions. They're not doing that. Analysis, the gathering, understanding, interpreting of the data and other information, definitely ain't doing that. Inference, meaning drawing conclusions based on relevant data, information, personal knowledge, and experience, definitely don't do that. And you're going to see that here in a second. Communication, sharing and receiving information with others verbally, non-verbally, and in writing. You'll see a lot of this, but in the wrong way. And lastly but not least, problem solving, the process of gathering, analyzing, and communicating information to identify troubleshooting solutions. So let's start off with this. The ABA put out a statement and apologizing for representing the wrong book. And it was supposed to have been a book called Blackout. But instead they did Candace Owens' book, Blackout. Now, the person that's originally supposed to have done this, promoting of the book, was on vacation, so somebody else took the spot and apparently put out the wrong book because they didn't recognize Candace Owens, whatever happened in that situation. But the bottom line is this. Candace Owens come on the Twitter and put this out. For those of you that don't know, the CEO of American Booksellers Association recently sent around an email apologizing for promoting my book and labeling my book as racist. This is the CEO, Allison Hill, who sees no irony in calling a Black woman racist.
And are you for real?
I can't make this up. It's right there. I can't make this up.
Is this a parody of some sort? What the hell is this?
Bruh, when I seen this, I said, you have got to be kidding me. You got your damn nerve.
You hear me?
You got your nerve talking about who sees no irony and calling out a Black woman. Now, before we continue, this book right here is what was supposed to have been promoted. This book right here is Blackout by Diana Clayton. And then you got 4 or 5 other authors that also contribute to the book. But this is what was supposed to have been promoted. So then a little while afterwards, here comes Candace Owens again saying this: I am calling for a public apology from the @ABA book and Allison Hill. This is an act of unspeakable, explicit racism for a white woman to send around an email slandering and integrating an autographical book from a Black woman who came from nothing. We cannot accept this racism.
What kind of racism are you trying to accept?
Oh, really?
What the hell is your problem?
Okay, so first off, she says that. Okay, so first off, she says this is just plain racist. But then she says America's not racist. But then we go back and look at her legal issue being this. Back in 2007, when she and her family sued for racism and slander and all this stuff. This was when she was in high school. Me and you were just a year out of high school at this time when this picture was taken. And here she is with the NAACP to talk about the issues at hand and what she was suing for and et cetera, et cetera. And she won the case and got $37,500. You claim racism then, but then you go back and you talking about racism from this white woman that calls your book racist. Do I call your book racist? I don't have to read it, but yes, it is racist to me because you're a racist person. There's nothing wrong with a white woman calling a black woman racist when it's right there and it's blatantly obvious. I'll call you a racist because you are. Especially against your own color. Mainly against your own color. So how dare you in the hypocrisy to say one thing and then perform another? A thing to what one is not to, or believe what one does not. Behavior that contradicts what one claims to believe or feel. So we go back to your tweet talking about this email slandering and denigrating an autobiographical book from a black woman who came from nothing, that we cannot accept this type of racism. Oh, okay. So you could go and file a lawsuit for racism, but you don't want nobody else to do the slandering of your book. But it's okay for you to do something like this. Rayshard Brooks ran away from cops with a stolen taser, which he attempted to fire at cops. He was justifiably fired on. Black Lives Matter doesn't care the facts, so let's burn down Atlanta, a black city, and throw Brooks 6 states funerals. You are all clowns. Oh, you can do that, but you can also do this too. These images capture the horrific scene that took place outside the Capitol building today. Oh wait, my mistake. These are actually for the Black Lives Matter protest over the summer. Oh, so you can do that, no problem. But you could do this. You could go back and file a lawsuit in 2007 and win $37,500. But then you could go back and do this. Say that you want an apology. You demand an apology. You don't want nobody to do this, but you want to do this. So this is what the hell where hypocrisy comes into play. A thing of what is one is not to believe what one does not. Behavior that contradicts what one claims to believe or feel. You can do all of that. You can slander Black Lives Matter. You can slander Rayshard Brooks. You can slander George Floyd. You can slander the NAACP for what they did for you and helping your sorry behind out, all because you got a target of racism, which was racism for real. Straight up. Far more racist than you can ever think of. So let's think about this for a minute. Let's use our critical thinking skills. You use a picture of the Black Lives Matter riot and you try to substitute it beyond the behalf of the Capitol riots. But don't say anything about it. Fine, I will. Let's take a look at it. Slanders. Look at all this. We don't say nothing about the Capitol riots. Nothing about them. But we just talk about Black Lives Matter all day long. Look at this. We just picture after picture after picture after picture. Just of nothing but total pure destruction. Oh, don't give it there about that. Don't care that they went in and thought it was okay to do it. But had it been a bunch of black dudes and black women, we all would have been dead. Oh, it's okay to do that. No problem. We'll let you all go home, say your last goodbyes to your family before you get sent off to jail. Sure, let's do it. By all means. Send you home, say goodbye to your families. We'll come back for you in the next 3 to 2 years, maybe, perhaps. Because as of this day, they are still arresting people that were involved in the Capitol riots. But just about everybody from the Black Lives Matter movement was arrested. Okay. Cool. Help your damn self, then. Do it make sense? No. Do it make sense? No. Will it ever make sense? No. Okay. Cool. One last thing. Sports related. Brett Favre. Remember the critical thinking and hypocrisy? Well, yesterday I just so happened to watch a CNN news at the time. Oh, who was it? Katie Burrow. I think it might be Katie. She was on and she was interviewing some guy and Brett Favre, and they was talking about vaccines in the NFL. Talk about piss me off. Asked if he had been vaccinated, Favre chose to evade the question. That's not what gets me. Here's what gets me. I'd rather not say one way or the other. It is not my place to get the vaccine or don't get the vaccine. I think it's the matter of choice by all individuals. That's why we live in America. That ticked me off. How do you say that? And why do you say that? Why do you think that's okay? We are in the middle of a pandemic, and you just think that it's okay that people just have that choice? People should know that with this pandemic, this is not an option of political or personal decisions. This should just be something, oh, we need to be doing this. We have to do this. I mean, I just do not get it. I do not get why you would say something like that, but then turn right around the very next day, girl, popped up an article, and I read this. Brett Favre is speaking out on an issue that is very personal to him. CTE, the progressive brain disease. Favre appears in a new PSA urging parents not to let their kids play tackle football until they're 14, warning that no longer a kid plays tackle football, the likelier they are to develop CTE. Really? Are you for real right now? So you mean to tell me it is okay for you to sit there on national television and say it is not unto me for people to be taking a vaccine? But you can, because you said that, oh, it's okay because we live in America. We have that right to make that choice. But you come right on here and say that they do not need to play tackle football until they're 14 years old. But you're telling them what they should do. Remember, it's supposed to be a free America, right? So why are you telling the parents that can make their own decisions based on if they want to play tackle football or not? Again, the hypocrisy of you. What is the matter with you? The most two hypocritical people I've ever seen in my life. A feeling of what is one is not, or to believe what one does not. Behavior that contradicts what one claims to be, believe, or feel. Where do we draw the line? Where in God's name do we draw the line at? Where? Somebody explain this to me. Somebody help me make sense of this. Joe, you care to make this sense for me?
The trouble is I can't. The problem here's my thing. Only people decide what they feel that they can say will justify what they're trying to say.
Exactly.
The decisions that they feel people should make to keep people safe isn't going to keep people safe.
Right.
We always preach on this. Look, every day is a risk. I even mentioned it on my podcast. Every day, we take a risk.
Yep.
Entrepreneurs take a risk.
Mm-hmm.
We as humans take risks when we driving our cars to work. We as humans take risks when we're flying on the airplane. Odds are we are going to get killed somehow, some way.
Right.
We are going to die somehow, some way.
Right.
So you're telling us that it is not safe for kids to play football, tackle football to their 14, but you're not at liberty to say that, oh, I can't say or comment on vaccine shots. Obvious is, you haven't done it.
Ain't that obvious?
You haven't done it.
Ain't that
Oh,
obvious?
Beasley hasn't done it. You know? Some bullshit. That right there. He's the reason why he's just a fucking joke. He is a straight joke. Candace Owens, another a joke.
Straight
Let me
up
say
joke.
something about her.
Look,
Look, nah. It's just dead up how I feel. I'm not a fan of the New England Patriots, okay?
right.
I'm not a fan of it. However, a former New England Patriot player that I am a big fan of now is Benjamin Watson.
My man. My
Okay?
man. Yep.
This is what he said about this crazy Jane Hathaway. Candace Owens represents the most dangerous type of American.
Yes.
One who prostitutes truth for shallow acceptance. Let me read that again.
Please read that again, and when you're done, pause yourself.
Candace Owens, okay? Candace Owens represents the most dangerous type of American, one who prostitutes truth for shallow acceptance. You hear me? You hear me?
Too bad I don't have the animation crowd applauding. I have that on there and let it roll for 5 minutes long and a standing ovation. Because that cannot be further from the
Bro,
truth.
that was straight truth. When I
That's
see
straight
I'm like, oh,
truth.
I have got to keep this.
Yes. And he's exactly right.
You
That's exactly what
proved-
he is.
That's you proved what Benjamin Watson is trying to say. You proved it. Oh, that whole thing in 2007 when she needed the NCAACP when it came down to them suing and
Yep.
getting that money.
Mm-hmm.
And then you turn right around with all this bullshit with the riots, the Capitol riots, and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You just proved what he said.
They're slandering black people, and they're not to mentioning that News One. And I shared this in my article back podcast. Excuse me, shared it back on my podcast week, the third episode. I shared it there, and I'm gonna say it again. News One says that she's a con artist, straight up. She is the worst kind of con artist, and that's exactly what she is.
That's what she is.
That's exactly what she is. But that's all you have?
That is it.
All right, so we'll be right back with Sports Talk About Podcast. We'll be right back.